Hey, we are following along with our Science Chapter 2 review. Names should be at the top. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our vocab words. We're going to make sure that we match our vocab words with a word down here. We should use all of the words once. Number 1, an animal with a backbone is called a... What was that? Animal with a backbone. It has a backbone. Remember, we called it a vertebrate. Animal with backbone is called a vertebrate. Next, in an early stage of life, when a butterfly eats and grows, it is called a... Well, this is where it's a great time to use your notes. Looking at chapter 2 in my notes, lesson 2. Egg starts to develop. Larva eats a lot. It's a caterpillar, so that would be a larva. Student eats and grows. Larva. 3. Some animals need much less food to survive when they... What did we call that? When they their bodies kind of slowed down. They didn't need as much food to survive. A lot of times they do it during winter. Number 4, something that helps living things survive is called a what? That would be an adaptation, right? An adaptation is what helps them survive. Number 5, if something passes from a parent to its offspring, it is, what do we call that? If the parent has a certain type of beak, so the kid also gets that certain type of beak. Number 6, the stage in the life cycle of a butterfly during which it changes into an adult is called the, put my notes back under, page 5 of my notes. Ooh, changes into a butterfly. It's pupa stage. Number 7, sometimes animals move to another place or blank to find better food and shelter. And number 8, a feature passed on to an animal from its parents is a what? Well, features, we call those traits. Remember, you can look in your book, you can look in your notes for the answer. You know that all these are on page 52, 48, 52, so you can find the last 3. Moving on to number 9. Explain why different animals can be grouped in more than one way. Why can an animal be grouped by, also it could be grouped by the type of fur it has, and it could be grouped by the behaviors that it has. Well, animals have many different traits. They could be grouped by different traits. Why does inheriting and adaptation help offspring survive? So let's say a bird has a beak that helps it to open up seeds. How is the baby bird getting that same trait? How does that help it survive? Well, that adaptation helps the parent survive. So it will also help the offspring. Number 11, what's the difference between instinct and learned behavior? Do you have to learn an instinct? No. So animals are born with instincts. Number 12. Describe the changes a frog goes through during its life cycle. Well, that's what we had on page 6 of our notes. Frog's life cycle: egg, tadpole, growing tadpole, adult. So, egg, tadpole, growing tadpole, that's when it grew legs, and then adult. Pause it there if you're not done with those at the bottom, because I'm flipping over to the back. If a fossil skull has flat teeth, what do you think the animal probably ate? If we have flat teeth, what do we think that animal eats? If you remember, we talked about that it probably eats plants. Number 14, a hawk has feet with sharp claws on them to help it catch small animals to eat. What kind of feet would you predict a bird that swims would have? Remember birds that swim like ducks? They've got these webbed feet, right? So webbed. To help them swim. We've got our 3 multiple choice questions. 16. Fossils tell us about animals that lived in the past, about how Earth has changed, about how today's animals are similar to past life, or all of the above. Yeah, all of the above. 17. The earliest stage in a frog's life cycle is pupa, egg, chrysalis, or tadpole. Well, if we go back to what we just said, I know it's upside down. Egg, tadpole, growing tadpole, or adult? Well, egg would be the first one, right? So, egg. Which of the following is an animal without a backbone, or invertebrate? Well, let's go in our books to the page that we talked about, invertebrates. That was way back in lesson 1. Here we go. Major kinds of invertebrate animals. We had sea jellies, worms, mollusks, or arthropods. Don't forget, when we look down here, we also had insects. Okay, insects are types of arthropods. Which define as an invertebrate? Insect. All right, thanks for following along. That should be an easy A+. Feel free to use your notes and your book tomorrow on your test so that you can do